From Toronto, this is Angie. I went from arriving in the US without speaking English to become a former McKinsey consultant. In this channel, I want to share my journey with you, all the struggles and successes, as well as the tips and tricks that I picked up on my way to help you thrive in a foreign world. Now, thanks to the vaccine, COVID is under better control than before. A lot of countries are opening up again and people are feeling more comfortable to travel again. So I'm curious, what are your top destinations that you want to go to? In this video, I want to share some of my best travel memories from before COVID and the top 3 things that helped me grow professionally through that traveling experience. I had a project between Indonesia and Australia. So I went to Bali for the weekend, enjoyed the blue sky and white sand beach. In Australia, I saw kangaroo for the first time, tried surfing for the first time, climbed up the Sydney Harbour Bridge also for the first time. I also seized the opportunity to get proper Aussie brunch and got introduced to Piccolo. Yes, it is a mini-sized latte, but apparently this is a more efficient way of drinking coffee. I spent 4 months in my home country in China. Honestly, I haven't really lived or spent too much time after age of 15, so it was an amazing opportunity to explore different cities and spend more time with my families. I got to bike around the hutongs in Beijing, explore the speakeasy bars. I climbed the Huangshan 3 times. I remember watching the star in Gulangyu. I then traveled to Philippines with my team. We stayed at a low-key hotel right by the sea. I tried also diving for the first time and saw wild dolphins on our boat.
There are so many of them!
It was such a surreal experience. My project then took me to Dubai, where I got introduced to the extremely hot and humid weather, but also sand sliding and wakeboarding was a lot of fun. Later in the year, Ripple and I took 2 months off. We spent time in Southeast Asia, chased chicken in a small Vietnamese village, saw sunset over Angkor Wat in Cambodia. I then also went to Europe for the first time, got drunk over sangria and tapas in Spain, mastered the skill of croissant making in Paris, and got stunned by the turquoise Mediterranean Ocean near Malta. Beginning of 2019, I decided to go to Kenya and live there for 6 months. I was surprised by the hospitalities of the locals, the rawness of the nature, the blue ocean and the white sand, the stunning coastline. Going on safari has always been on my bucket list, and living in Africa, I had so many opportunities to do that. It was incredible to be surrounded by so many different majestic creatures, and it was the most surreal experience ever. So what have I learned from all those experiences? And how did they help me professionally? 1. Be shameless about your self-promotion and voice what you want. One of my top goals with McKinsey is to get that international exposure. Although yes, consultants do travel a lot, but a lot of that travel was domestically within the US. So to get staffed abroad was actually extremely difficult. At that time, my mentality was that, well, if I just keep my head down and do really good work, eventually my reputation will spread to somewhere across the world and some team will hear about me and they would want to staff me. Yes, that was the plan. So I did exactly that for what felt like a long period of time and nothing happened. Right, because why would any team hear about me if I don't make myself on their radar? So I changed my tactics. I started shamelessly promote myself about my strength and started telling every single one that I've worked with, whether it's my peer, my partner, my manager, that it is my dream, my goal to work in APAC. And I asked them if they knew anyone in APAC, please introduce me. So I think during that period of time, I probably had about 20 conversations with the hope that one of them would eventually connect me with the team or thought of me when they were staffing a team in Asia. Yes, it did not work out immediately, and yes, it took a lot of time, but eventually when it all worked out, the experience was amazing. I think a lot of people probably share the same mentality, which is you need to be modest. You should not brag about yourself too much. You should not voice your needs so that you're not bothering other people. And then instead, if you just keep your heads down and do really good work, eventually you will be discovered. However, in reality, people could just be wasting a lot of time, miss a lot of opportunities if they are not on other people's radar, if they're not visible. So By shamelessly promoting yourself and voice your need, not only are you top of mind for someone, but also it makes it so much easier for other people to know exactly how they could help you. So I want to say, in the future, stop just quietly doing your work. Start telling people what is it that you're really good at and what is it that you want. Number 2, take a leap of faith and step out of your comfort zone. I've always wanted to go to Africa, but somehow I never thought I could have done it by myself. Deep down, I don't know why. Perhaps it's because I got really comfortable in North America and I feel scared that I had no connection to Africa. Or partially because all the negative bias that I've developed against Africa from reading the news, movies, everything that portrayed the continent as poor, as barren. However, when the opportunity came up to go to Africa for about 6 months, I hesitated a lot, but then eventually I decided to just take it because I know if I don't seize this opportunity, I will regret it for a very, very long time. So I went, I packed up my suitcase, I took a 24-hour flight with 2 connections and eventually got there. And let me tell you, it was the most amazingly unexpected experience ever. Not only did I get to experience the country's scenery, cross off safari as one of my bucket list, I also met a group of incredibly talented, adventurous, smart people who are all so dedicated to Africa and love the country, and they inspire me every single day. I think that's a sentiment that a lot of us share. It is very easy to just be very comfortable to just plateau with your daily routine. However, that's also when the learning stops. And I realized that the most growth that I've ever had always been from situations where I had to step out of my comfort zone, where I had to take a leap of faith. So in the future, stop being too comfortable and start trying something new. Number 3, I realized that it's actually okay to take a long break to just recharge and reflect, spend the time on yourself. Towards the end of 2018, my 2 years with McKinsey was coming up. But I felt lost. Even though I was in a good job, I was in a good company, I just wasn't sure whether I was happy. I barely had any time to sleep, not to mention any time to think as well. I wanted to take a break, but I was also scared because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And for someone who have always had a clear goal, that was very scary. At the same time, also scared that I was left behind because all of my peers are working really hard for that next promotion, for that next project. I was afraid that by the time that I come back from the super long vacation, I would be super behind. But still, I knew that my body needed it, mentally I needed it, so I just took it and just focused on me and myself. I reflected on what I liked about the work, what made me happy, and the piece that I didn't like about my work and made me miserable. I think for a lot of people who are overachievers like me, we like to be busy, we like the certainty. We like to always know what goes on next. We don't like to stop because stop means behind. However, a good break means that you are put in a better position to get ready for whatever comes next. You don't always need the answer, but you will need the space to think. So in the future, stop worrying about the pause and start taking the break that you always deserve. If you also love travel, food, and wine, check out my last video where I took you on a wine and dine tour in Ontario wine region. So what are your best memories? Would love to hear your stories as well. Comment below, I would love to hear from you. Until next time, bye.
Okay, Justin.
That's so funny, oh my god.
We're going.